Hello everyone. Well, too late. We're just saying it's taken a little bit longer to get up to the buoy. Tapio's been calm for quite some time, but he's making a leg up to the buoy now. We're just going to cuss it. Okay, going to do a tack down there so he can sneak up to it when we get there. He probably came on a little bit early. I thought he was going to do it in that one leg now, but anyway, beautiful day here. Sun's out. It's got a little bit warmer, but literally for the last hour or something he was becalmed there with no wind at all, and it's just puffed in, so now he's able to make a run for the buoy. And if we can keep this going long enough, we'll follow him through, and you'll see how he's going to sail up to the mark and pick that up. He's gone through the gate, so he's not worried about the time. He's going to be here for the next... We won't leave until first light tomorrow morning. He'll be quite happy to have a sleep and get things done. The sail systems on the boat is really slick on this boat. Everything happens to the cockpit like a lot of the others, but the boat's a lot smaller than, say, a Rustler 36 or something, so everything is close at hand. And we've just been watching him doing some tacking and bits and pieces. You'll see the mainsail when he drops it. The batten cars work really well. It's well and truly sorted, this boat. It's like a little race boat. He's a performance sailor normally, as well as having done the Whitbread race a long time ago and some transatlantics and bits and pieces, so he can handle a boat, and it's not such a big boat. It's a lot more nimble than say a Rustler. A lot smaller too, a lot wetter. We're just saying there's some condensation on the portholes, the cabin windows, and I just found out for the first time they're actually double insulated. He's got a panel on the outside and there's one on the inside. It's a foam core deck, so it gives him quite a lot of insulation. And he's got a I'm going to get run over here. I'll just turn around. He's coming around now. So the cabin is very well insulated, and he's got his heater. It's a propane heater that he uses on the boat, and he uses it quite a lot. Says it's fantastic. So he's coming around now, and the buoy he's about 300 metres from the buoy. 300 metres, nearly 300 metres. So the Kingston Beach, great way to see it. Nice sandy beach, although it's very high tide at the moment. In fact, it's maximum high tide. That's Mount Wellington off in the distance there. There was snow on the mountain a few days ago when ISTVAN came in. Here Tapio's now holding the main sheet. He's holding the main there to kick the stern around to help it tack, because there's not a lot of breeze, although this is the strongest it's been for the last hour. Certainly this is probably about 10 knots or so. He's not wanting to tack. He's got to get some sails around or backwinded or something just to get it happening. No, it's not going to work. He's possibly going to have to jibe around or something. So part of the fun of actually having no engine. When we were going in on the other side, he just sort of touched the sandy bottom just a little bit and managed to swing the boat around and come out of there. There's a little bit of sandbank there, but that's all sorted. And now he wants to go hard to port, but can't quite tack the boat, but I think he's going to do it now. Get a little bit of speed up. We were just chatting previously. It's had lots of little issues. The boat was a virtual new build when it was done. He's very happy with the boat, happy with the sailboat, loves it in fact, and but there's lots of little niggly things. Even the solar panels, when they went down, they're not performing too well. There's lots of shadows on it. With solar panels, when you have them, people think that if you've got an area, and you have a shadow on it, that you just lose the power over the shadow. That's not the case at all. The power going through a solar panel is like a big snake, like a daisy chain, and when you have any shadow on it, the power that's been collected in the chain has to push through a dead spot, which is the shadow. So it's got nothing to do with if you've got 10% shadow, you're going to lose 10% of your solar panel. It's nothing like that at all. You're going to lose a heap because it doesn't like pushing through that shadow bit. Oh, can he make this tack or not? Let's wait and see what happens. Oh, no, not quite. Gonna have to go again. So now Tapio's entire power source has to come from that wind generator, that little black thing on the transom, the starboard side of the transom there. Propeller in the water turning wind generator, and there's a big black bit sticking up on the circle, that's the plug where the power lead goes in, and that had previously failed. Okay, it looks like he's thought he's going to jibe, but no, he's going to try and tack around again. So anyway, Tapio with the water generator's only got one plug left, and that's it. If that plug fails in the next half of a circumnavigation, then he loses all opportunity to power anything on board, and so he'll go dark ship. And we've talked about it from an organiser's point of view already, and we're not concerned about that as long as he's got his safety gear operational and all his EPIRBs and everything on board. We're not going to pull him out of the race just because he loses all power, and we can't talk to him as such. So his iridium phone batteries and his tracker batteries are always topped up. He never lets them go down now in case he loses the water generator. Okay, he's around now. In actual fact, he's come to windward a bit more, so it gives him a bit more flexibility as he closes towards the anchor buoy. It's still a 6.5 ton boat, 7 ton boat. It's not easy to stop, and he's going to have to do one pass and try and hook it up with the boat hook and get it onto something pretty quick. Well, you can just see the blade of the water generator turning there. It's half out of the water at the moment, so it wouldn't be putting anything in. The boat needs to be doing at least sort of 3 or 4 knots, I'd imagine, to get any real output, but every little bit counts. I'm surprised that he's still... I can get rid of him pretty quick. Yeah, he's still running as a cutter rig. It's quite an interesting setup because the staysail, it's the second one back, it's quite a big sail. It's not like a little staysail, but I know he's got extras there that he puts on. And interestingly, that orange sail right up the front is his actual storm jib. So he's actually running a storm jib. I'll get you up here to have a look at it. He's getting a bit hot now, so he's getting his gear off. The storm jib he puts actually on the wire right out at the end of the boat, which got some interesting issues, because I know when you're storming downwind in big weather, as the boat's sort of yawing back and forwards, that sail tends to flop from one side to the other, but it couldn't do that because the furling gear's there. So everything on a boat's compromised, but certainly it's good to have that storm jib right out on the bow, because it's pulling the boat from the bow and helping to stop any broaching as you go down a wave. You start to broach, it comes to the wind and it pushes the bow back again. Well, we'll talk about that when we get the interview going. We'll talk about that. And he's actually broken another law, but I didn't want to get him to do it. He didn't realise that Watsilla sign up the front for the future of the seas, not meant to be there under the rules of the sponsorship guidelines we have. That's only meant to be when on a marina. He'd forgotten about that, but we'll get it down later on. Okay, there goes his mainsail. That'll slow him down a bit, and that allows him then to roll up the head sails. He's going to be coming at it downwind. So at the moment the anchor's about 45 degrees off the... he's coming around to point directly to it now anyway. So he's going to get the main down hopefully, and then he'll be able to get to one head sail, and as he approaches he will actually roll that up, try and luff up or round up to it. It's a floating anchor rope, so there's about 25 metres of floating rope on the surface, and the red buoy is at the downwind end of the line, so it's probably not too bad to pick up. He doesn't have to grab the buoy, he can just grab the anchor line and then get that up and get it onto something as quick as he can. So got an interesting cockpit layout as well. There's very little room, very little foot room. He was able to modify that a bit when he did the rebuild, and he's got his life raft right in. You might be able to, Jane, just put the camera right over into the cockpit as we... Oh, don't take my microphone away from me. Whoop, I'm steering all over the place. You can see the life raft under the huge tiller in there. So you can probably see the buoys, the red buoys, just on the starboard side of the boat there. Yeah. Yeah, he's just saying normally the weight of the main normally comes down under its own weight, but now he's just pulling it down. So yeah, so now the anchor buoy is 100 metres on his starboard bow, and as long as the wind stays this direction, and it gets a bit fluky in here, goes all over the place, he should be able to head up there and grab it. And once he does, we'll grab him for a quick interview before we let him go down below and have a rest. This has all taken a bit longer than we ever expected, and unfortunately Jesse and Tina aren't here to film for the doco, but we thought we would have been in and done by about 3 o'clock this morning, so we let them keep sleeping, and then we were going to go and pick them up and bring them back later today to do it, but it hasn't worked out like that. So I know Jesse will be watching this. Sorry, mate. We'll come and get you later today. So had a couple of spectator boats out here, a couple of people from Finland. Okay, so you can see the still low in the water. I thought he might be a bit higher by now. You can see the anti-fouling's all covered down there, so no boot top. Hasn't eaten enough food, maybe. I'm not sure. I know he's happy with his food. There's another example there of the man overboard ladder if he ended up in the water, just on the starboard quarter there, hanging down under the YB3i hockey puck on the rail. That's the little white disc that does the tracking positions for us. That white bag next to it called Safe Up, and the rope hanging in the water, he just grabs that and pulls it, and it pulls down a webbing ladder, so he could actually then haul himself back over the side if there was a problem. That's how that thing works. So now you can just shoot up the bow, Jean, so you can see the anchor buoy. There it is there, so he's aiming for that buoy. Yep, and I'm not sure he's going to run the rope over. Just remember the rope's floating to windward of it, right? Yep. Yeah, he's going to drop away to leeward. It's not quite as easy as it looks. But this will be interesting to watch. Odds on favourite, I reckon he should be able to do it, as long as the wind doesn't change direction. It's come around a little bit on the nose now. It was coming straight off the beach, but now it's headed him a bit. So, yep, there we go. There's a puff. So he might come around and tack over the top of it, probably. But then again, he's got no mainsail to help him go around. This could get interesting. Got plenty of sea room around this. He's got about 250 metres on the other side of the buoy before those cliffs. They're the infamous cliffs that took out Jesse's drone the other day when we were filming ISTVAN, but we found it in the trees. It was quite a funny story. We thought we'd lost it. Anyway, we got it back. He's now got to go around. He's going to have to tack back on it. He's too low by about... oh, there goes a big puff. Oh, now this will get really interesting, because the boat's not balanced without the mainsail, so he's got to get a bit of speed on before he can tack around. It's probably, if he had had the motor and been prepared to motor for about 5 hours or so, it would have saved him probably half a day. But TAPIO is all about finishing to win scenario, so he doesn't want to waste time, but he's not too stressed. He's enjoying the ride and making the most of the experience. I know he feels well. Anyway, I better not preempt anything and say something too soon, but I wonder if TAPIO will be back again one day. He's certainly enjoying this edition of the Golden Globe, even with all its frustrations. So I'm right beside the anchor buoy right now, so he's going to have to work his way upwind, which is going to be quite interesting. Can he tack it without having to rehoist the main? This could take some time. Hope not boring anyone. What would you like to say, Jane?
I hope he can get the buoy.
Oh, okay.
I'll never get that. You'd
never get it? Okay. Alright. So, lots of nice houses up there on the cliff. They all know what's going on. They watch down and they kind of enjoy the ride. We get a few comments, a few emails from people in Kingston. There's a few people on the beach now as well watching. We have people tooting horns and so on. Some people walk down the beach while we were sailing in close, just to say g'day. Well, there's quite a few over there in the car park, but anyway. Okay, now he's got both of them up. What's going on here? Oh, he's going to tack it through. Yeah, you can't tack the out of Genoa, but this is going to get very interesting. He's looking at it. He's going to jibe it around, maybe. When I say jibe it around, he's just using the boat's momentum to turn the boat. Here we go. It's around that side. That'll pull it around, and then he's going to... I don't know what'll happen. I can only talk so much. Come on, Tapio. Kingston Big Sailing Club, pretty good. We'll go up and give him a hard time about his performance here. Tapio has had a lot to do with junior sailing and Optimus dinghies and so on, so I'll tell him that I think an Optimus dinghy skipper would do better than he's doing. I think an Optimus dinghy sailor would do better than you are, Tapio. He just said, yeah, most probably. Keep the pressure on. Still a nice day to be sailing around the bay, you know. So now he's come falling downwind. He's going to have to claw up to weather to get up there.
I thought that I was already on the windward side, but then it...
All right. Stop giving excuses and get on with the job. So you can see the issues of... you don't have to do much of this when you're in the ocean. You might do that once a day or once every 3 or 4 days. It's keep tacking and driving and carrying on. So don't forget I've got the short lead here. You can probably see some of the condensation on the front window on this side, but that's condensation, the foggy bit in between the 2 layers of the windows.
I would probably end up posting the man again.
That's okay. We've got all the time in the world. No one's getting bored yet. Looks like you're going to have to hoist the main to get back up. So, no pressure. There's only about 2 million people watching.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, I better reverse up here. Well, I could say we could come back in half an hour. I don't know whether we can keep talking long enough. How long's this one been going for?
17 minutes.
17 minutes already. Yeah, it's probably a bit long. This could take some time. I wonder what we should... let's see. Yeah, maybe we'll just call this one a day, and we'll come back shortly when he's on there, probably in about 30 seconds once he picks up the anchor buoy. Just a joke. All right, so we'll shut this down, Jane. I think everyone's getting a little bit bored. This could take a while, or shall we stay here? You can vote. What would you think we should do?
I don't know. I was interested to know how you get the anchor.
Okay, the general consensus of everyone on board is that we'll keep it rolling, and you could go make a cup of coffee if you don't really want to watch this, and we would totally understand. So no problem. But Jane says people might want to look at how you actually sail in on a 7-ton boat that's covered in barnacles and not sailing too fast, with a skipper who hasn't slept for a couple of days, trying hard to get to the anchor. So you get to see how the boats sail.
Would they get his own anchor easier?
Yeah, well, the other thing is he could use his own anchor as well, of course, and make it a lot easier. He could just sail up there into the lee of the beach and drop it, but it's quite a bit of work to get everything out, so it's a lot easier to grab that one. You don't have to unlash things and so on. So okay, now you've got to sail across and slowly make his way up, but he's losing ground to windward all the time. Probably would have made it last time if there wasn't that big puff that changed directions by about 35 degrees. Here comes another one. You might be able to ride that up. Let's see, you'll have to sheet it in a bit, give it a burl. When the breeze comes in, it gets cold really quick. It's quite a big difference. The sun. So let's see here, we'll catch up to him and see the boat's moving pretty well. Hand steering, of course, the wind vane's been disconnected on these sorts of things, so it's all kind of interesting. He hasn't made much room to windward here, but he's certainly come along further north now. We're heading north. So Tapio's got a double main sheet system, so he doesn't have a track on the deck. He's just got two tackle systems, same as Jean-Luc and a couple of the others. Lets you strap the boom down pretty well, but lots of adjustment there, so it's all easy to do. 6-to-1 block and tackle there. Got a solid bang. He doesn't have a boom brake, which I find kind of interesting, so he must be using a different preventer system. I love boom brakes, but everyone's an individual when it comes to sailing. We all make our own choices, and the way we handle the boat and the equipment we use, and it's part of the fun, part of the freedom of going sailing. One of the best parts about it, something special about having your boat full of food and water and fuel and everything you need to survive. Oop, it's going to fall away. I better get out of the way here. I'll just cross his bow and we'll see what happens. There we go. Okay, yep, didn't quite make that tack, so the fun continues. This could go on for hours, Jane.
So we give up.
Eh? I'm not sure. That's sort of like we're letting down Tapio. If we give up and stop filming, it's like we don't believe he can do it. We know he can do it. It's just how long's it going to take? How long's a piece of string? And he's got lots of string on board. So, he's actually made some ground. He's actually come up to weather a little bit. Maybe that's the thing to do. Head for the beach, Tapio. Come on. Woo. Head for the beach, and then... yeah, because that puff, every time it puffs, it changes direction. It's 30 degrees, and so he's riding the lift. He's got a lift now. That's a good lift, heading into the beach. Oh, that's a good lift! Woohoo! Yep, now he's well to windward of it now, if he can keep that going. This is like a commentary in some fancy match racing. How many people are watching now, Jing? Oh, we can't see. There's probably 3 now. Oh, dearie me.
Maybe 1 million to see Tapio successful.
Yeah. So, I better be careful. He's going to do it again. He's going to bear away. In fact, if I stop here, I might let him go ahead. He can go right up to the beach here, where he touched the bottom down a bit further down. It was just where a little creek came out, and there's a little sandbar there. But he got off pretty quick, so that was okay. Now, can he do it? He'll hold that sail. He won't let it go through and wait for it to backwind. There's a puff coming. Oh, is it going to be? Yep, there's a backwind. He might just have enough there if he holds that, and it'll pull the bow across. Oh, the puff has got a wind shift. Oh, no. Jeez. He's shaking his head. Oh, he's shaking his head. He might jibe around. Everything was looking great, but every time they get that puff, it swings another 30 degrees, 35 degrees, maybe even a bit more. So, okay. Crikeys. I told you we should have shut this down, Jane.
23 minutes now.
What is it?
23 minutes.
We've never done more than 30 minutes in one hit. We got a problem. Oh well. We'll slowly get there. Live action of the GGR. Probably keeping everyone up in Europe if you're watching this, but what the heck, you can always turn off if you don't want to watch. But Jane's committed to carry this through live until he makes the buoy, because we know he can do it. We're about 300 metres from the buoy again. Here comes a puff. Oops. Oh, here we go. Oh, he's going to jibe around. Okay, now you're talking, sunshine. Oh, that's a lot easier. Righty-go. Yep. Okay. Whoop. Bit of rope there in the cockpit. You can see you got to know what you're doing. He's got ropes around the back of his head at the moment. There we go. Right, now if he's onto it, we'll get this. We could be on a roll here. We might be able to cut it at 30 minutes. Then we'll come back for the interview once he cleans up the mess. So this looks like the big run. He's got to hold up now. He's got to get that sheeted. Oh, don't lose any ground. He's not making it at the moment. He's steering way under it. Way under it. You've got to get up. He's got to head up and hope, because now when the puff comes it'll head him this time and he'll have to bear away, so I don't know about this. Ooh, okay, here's the deal. If he doesn't make this run, we'll shut it down and we'll come back to you when he's actually on the anchor. This could take some time. Oh, he's hardening up now. Well, interesting seeing the inner forestay wobbling around there. That's quite interesting. The furling gear on it. This, systems don't like usually doing that too much, but then again, as I was saying, you don't tack and jibe very often when you're in the ocean. You're actually only doing it every so often. Then it's just reefing in and out. The sail's looking good shape. So this is the final run. It's a do or die. If he doesn't get this one, we'll shut it down and we'll come back once he's on the pick and do an interview shortly thereafter. So he's now trying to come up into the wind. He's a little bit too high maybe, but he's got to get there. That's the main thing. He can't afford to go down low. And he'll be making a bit more leeway as well. I'm going slow with all the drag and everything on the bottom. Okay. You can see up there on the first spreader, on the starboard side first spreader, he's got a bit of pipe hanging there. That's actually his radar transponder and radar alarm. So if a radar hits that, it sends back a signal which is huge. It makes the boat look like it's a 30-metre steel fishing boat, and it also sets off an alarm down below so that he knows that a radar signal, a radar beam has hit the boat, which means there must be a ship out there, so he can come out and have a look for it. And then next to it's the EcoMax radar reflector. That's the one stuck to the mast. So that's a traditional stacked array or phased array radar reflector. It's passive, so it has no power to it at all. Yeah. Okay, looking good now. If you can hold up on this. So I think we might shut this down in a minute anyway. Once we pick up the buoy, we might shut it down and come back to the interview after. Otherwise, it goes forever, and we'll use up everyone's internet time. Very strong boat, this one, built like a tank, or rebuilt like a tank I should say. The original deck was so bad they had to just use it as a mould. They made a mould of it, built a brand new deck, and we were a bit involved with all the refit as the organiser of the event to make sure it wasn't built any lighter than original. And in actual fact, they worked with all the designers from North to Swan and the yards, the authorised yard, to do it. It's actually heavier than original. So okay, we're now down his upwind of the buoy, which looks good, so he can bear away. Doesn't want to have a big puff to head him right now, but it's looking pretty good. The buoy from your camera angle is just off the bow of the boat. Keep the anchor buoy in there, that's it. Just off the bow, you might be able to see the little red one, so he's about 15 metres to windward of it and can afford to bear down. There's a floating line going on the surface which between the buoy and where we are, so you might want to run it over or something, I'm not sure. Or try and get one or the other. Now he's just using boat momentum, no more sails up, but it'll have its own capacity just to be blown by the wind at 1 knot maybe. So as long as he can get it and round up on top of it or something. He's still got the helm amidships. Just at the right time, he's got to come up to it and grab it. He's doing about, I can't tell because we're moving, maybe walking speed at the moment, and he should have enough momentum just to get there, but if the boat stops the forward moment and starts going sideways, he's not going to get it. So time will tell. Well, I know what we'll do, we're going to sit up on the line and then you can see him approaching. So we'll go over here and just sit right on the line in the water and you'll see how he comes ahead. There's the line in the water. Yep. Just in front of us now. So there's where the bow of our boat's just about parked on the line. So boy, he's going to have to, yep, there it is. It's just in front of us. Oh, don't go too low, Tapio. Oh, get ready to round up. Oh, jeepers. He's hard over and it doesn't want to come up. Oh, jeepers, it's just coming up. Just coming up. Yeah, oh, it's going to be close. You got to get this timing just right. Might just have it, I think. Oh, yep. Might just have it. Here we go. He's got his deck brush. Don't lose the line. You got it. Way to go. Woo, woo, woo. Way to go. Okay, so he's going to be busy now. Yeah, whee! And tooting horns and carrying on. So he's back online. He's got an anchor up, and we're going to shut this down now. When he gets it organised, we'll probably be back in about 15 minutes or so, and see how it goes. So we'll see you shortly for the big interview. Thanks.